Next speaker is Dr. Abhishek Sarkar from IIT Jodhpur. He will be talking about freedom alternative type results for quasi-linear operators. Please continue.
Yeah. Okay. So I would like to begin with by thanking the organizers for their effort. So let me start with the talk itself. So I have chosen the talk like the topic which is quite familiar topic with many analysts for PDE or the analyst also, the freedom alternative type results. So we all know the freedom alternative results for the linear operators. So let me begin with the classical freedom alternative type results. So which says that we are given a non-trivial operator which is linear, symmetric and compact operator acting on a Hilbert space H. Then we can conclude two things. One is that if lambda is not an eigenvalue of the operator T, then the equation lambda u minus Tu equals to F has a unique solution for any F belongs to the Hilbert space. And the second one is, if lambda is not an eigenvalue of the linear operator T, then the equation lambda u minus Tu, sorry, this is a small u, equals to F has a solution if and only if the inner product Fu is 0. That is,
can I interrupt for a second? Did you start your video, by the way?
Yeah, I did once. Just a moment. Okay.
Your camera.
So now,
I mean.
yeah. So now can you?
Now we can see.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
So welcome. So the second one is that if lambda is not an eigenvalue of the operator T, then the equation lambda u minus T with small u equals to F has a solution. The necessary and sufficient condition being the F shall be orthogonal to the all the eigenvectors u of T corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda. So for our actually this condition is a little bit stronger condition, but the weak condition is that you can take it the operator on the Banach space and you can drop the symmetric as well, but the compact and linear is essential. But we have taken because of for our setup, because we want to discuss the this applicability for the elliptic operators and Laplace operators precisely. So let us begin with the linear case and also for the ODE case. So first, the simple example is that for the classical freedom alternative is, consider this equation minus u double prime equals to lambda u plus fx, and x belongs to the open interval 0 to 1. And we take the underlying space H equals to L2I with the Dirichlet boundary condition. That is U0 and U1 equals to 0. And then what conclusions we can give by the freedom alternative theorem is that, so as we mentioned in the freedom alternative theorem, if we change the lambda to be lambda 1, in that case, we can have the solution if and only if the orthogonal condition is satisfied with the corresponding eigenfunction. That is, in this case, if we take, so in this case, if we take this, so in this case, if we take, so this lambda 1 is the first eigenvalue. So in that case, corresponding to this eigenfunction, that is phi1, we have the L2 orthogonality condition, that is integral over I f phi1 dx equals to 0. So if this condition is satisfied, then we know that this equation will have a solution corresponding to this this first eigenvalue. So this is the first case of this Fredholm alternative type Fredholm alternative results for the ODE case. So what can we expect from the quasi-linear operators, so that up to some extent these conditions will be satisfied, or they will be behaving completely different from the linear case. So let us see what happens in the case of the quasi-linear operator. So to begin with, we will first of all we are not in a linear ODE setup as well. So now the system got changed into this. So we take H belongs to the L infinity 0 to pi p, and pi p we have defined here. So for this kind of H bounded in 0 to pi p, we are considering this ODE, that is mod u to the power mod u prime to the power p minus 2 u prime the whole prime plus p minus 1, this whole equation with the Dirichlet boundary condition. So what is the speciality of this equation? Actually, this is a general case, like extension of the linear case, because if we take p equals to 2, that obviously replicates this case. So for p equals to 2, it becomes this case. And what is this actually? So this p minus 1 is actually the so this p minus 1 is nothing but u prime plus lambda u p minus 2 u equals to 0. So for this kind of eigenvalue problem with the Dirichlet boundary condition, so the first eigenvalue is actually p minus 1 for this kind of ODE. And I would like to also mention that this kind of PDE is this kind of ODE are also called the half linear, because you can, from these solutions, you cannot expect the solutions will be linear, because suppose for this equation, if you get two solutions u and v, you cannot expect any longer that u plus v will also be a solution. But one thing is for sure, that the homogeneity condition will be intact. So if u is a solution, tu will also be the solution. So that is why these kind of equations are called half linear, not the linear anymore. So for those kind of ODE, and this lambda 1 is the first eigenvalue that we already mentioned, with the right hand side equals to 0. So in this case, as we have already seen, that the solvability of, in the case of p equals to 2, that is the linear case, a standard, like the if and only if condition for the solvability is that right hand side will be perpendicular to the given function h, that is ht sin t integration from 0 to pi will be equals to 0, because if you take pi equals to 2, it will give you the only pi. So p equals to 2 is nothing but this. So for p equals to 2, it is already okay. So now let us see what happens for the general p. That is, we are mainly interested for 1 less than p less than, like 1 less p for any p greater than 1 actually. So for those kind of for this kind of, with this kind of ODE, if you take h equivalently 0, then for this eigenvalue problem, you are only dealing with that eigenfunction will be like ut equals to sine pt, the non-trivial positive solution of the 1D for lambda equals to lambda 1 p minus 1, and we will also like to normalize in a way such that u prime 0 will be equals to 1. Then the function sine pt is the first eigenfunction with respect to the eigenvalue, the p minus 1 that you already mentioned. And actually what happens that for p, so this kind of function ut, this will also satisfy the what we expect for the, in a such a way we are normalizing u prime 0 equals to 1 such that you can also expect this kind of behavior, because that is obvious for the case p equals to 2, it is sine function and the cosine function square, so that gives you 1. So there will also be the same situation for the general p also. So that is quite an interesting generalized sine and cosine functions. So, and also this lambda 1 is actually is a simple eigenvalue. By the simple eigenvalue we mean that if you can have any other eigenvalues, eigenfunctions, that is, say you are already got lambda 1 phi 1, if you got any phi 2 other than phi 1, it will be like c into phi 1. So that is the constant multiple of phi 1, and that is what we meant by the simplicity. So these results are so in this generalized sine p cos p functions are captured in this result, and also for the Fredholm alternative type results in this paper they have mentioned. So the question is there any role of this orthogonal condition in the case of general p greater than 1? So that the question is, what is the role, if any, of the corresponding analog of the Fredholm alternative type result for the linear case, if it holds also for the nonlinear case, that is 0 to pi p ht sine pt dt is equals to 0. That remember, that is the So now we will state some results for the Fredholm alternative type results for the p Laplace operator. And the p Laplace operator, by the definition, it is a, like if you categorize, it is a quasi-linear operator. So we will just like to mention the few articles, the one article first, which is written by Binding et al. In the Proceedings of AMS, that they construct an example which shows that the Fredholm alternative type is not necessary for existence of solutions. But although they did not take this kind of u02 and pi p, this kind of condition, so they took in their paper, they started with something u1 or 01 like that. But that doesn't matter, you can normalize it always. For the nice boundary conditions, you can only take this, otherwise any real numbers is okay. So the first case is the first article, which we see that it states that is not a necessary condition. But what about the sufficient condition? So in their paper, Del Pino et al. In the JDE 99, they shown that the condition that Fredholm alternative type linear in nature, that is 0 to pi p ht sine pt equals to 0. So this condition for any p greater than 1 is actually a sufficient condition for the existence of solution. So we have already seen that, like the results, that it may not be the necessary and sufficient, but it is not necessary but sufficient condition for the existence of solution. And you can also expect some multiplicity of solutions as well. So in their paper, explicitly they prove that the set of H for which that the one-dimensional case has non-empty solutions such that at the lambda equals to lambda 1 has at least two solutions, ht sine pt dt is not equals to 0. So what the important part is this: you can get multiple solutions even without the orthogonal condition. That is, it is non-zero, but still you are getting the existence of two solutions. So the idea of the proof is like the normal ODE techniques, and so the one of the important tool is that classical suiting arguments. So let us get into the Fredholm alternative for higher dimensions. Okay, so I have 5 more minutes. Okay, so let us discuss about the Fredholm alternative for the higher dimensions, that is P Laplace operator. Actually, the P Laplace operator, if you convert it for the radial solutions, it will convert it into the ODEs of the form of the 1D which we wrote earlier. So in this case, omega is a bounded domain in Rn, and Laplacian U is defined by divergence of this quantity for P greater than 1. So first of all, for any kind of Fredholm alternative type results, first you must have the sufficient information about the eigenvalue problem. So the lambda 1 is the first eigenvalue. So lambda 1 is related to, if you take h equals to 0. So lambda 1 can be characterized as the LP based constant C in the LP Poincare inequality. So depending on, so either you can write C here, in that case lambda 1 will be 1 by C, and since I am writing in this side, so C equals to lambda as the base constant. So depending on which side you are putting the constant, so the lambda 1 can be characterized as the base constant in the LP Poincare inequality. And also for the eigenfunction, we will have that this inequality will be equals to 0 if you take U to be the eigenfunction corresponding to the lambda 1. So these results are well mentioned in the paper of Lindqvist in the proceedings of AMS, that the first eigenfunction is simple, it is positive and also isolated, and the phi1 is positive in omega, and also the normal derivative on omega del on the boundary is also positive, and also the Holder regularity up to C1 alpha is also mentioned in that article. So for p equals to 2, if lambda is not an eigenvalue problem, that we already know, for any arbitrary h in the right hand side we can have a solution. So for the general case p greater than 1, and so for p greater than 1, for lambda not equals less than equals to 0, the monotonicity argument for any h, we can prove the unique solution for the lambda greater than equals to 0. So lambda for this case, say this is the lambda. So for all these cases, the solutions are there. So the only remaining part is, so if this is lambda 1, so for 0 to lambda 1, for p greater than 2 and lambda belongs to 0 to del 1, and 0 to the first eigenvalue, del Pino proved the existence of the multiple solutions, and also like the sufficient condition and necessary condition, how it fails. For 1 less than p less than 2 case, and between lambda to 0 to lambda 1, Fleckinger et al. Proved this result. And for in lambda greater than lambda 1, so for this range, later Drabek and Takach, they proved the condition. So the approach combines the variational methods, topological arguments, and also the lower and upper solutions. And to mention that these lower and upper solutions may not be the ordered one, but still they proved some results without the non-ordered lower and upper solutions. And the most importantly, they shown that the Fredholm alternative type condition is not necessary for the existence of multiple solutions is also shown. So can I have 2-3 more minutes, or shall I stop here? So I can stop for, hello?
Yes. Hi.
Okay.
Hi, Abhishek. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can stop. Actually, your time is out. Yeah.
Okay, so 3:20.
Maybe.
Okay, I'll stop here.
Yeah. So, is there any questions or comments?
So there is a question in the chat, probably you can take that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So for the trace class, actually for the trace, it will be delicate issues depending on the linear or the non-linear. So for the trace class, I don't know, because for the trace class, then it will also come to this fractional Laplace situation also. So for those cases, I don't know anything about it. Maybe fractional people also can highlight here, maybe if they're around. So it depends on the trace class with the fractional situations. So I have not come across to these classes. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we can stop here maybe. Thanks, Abhishek, for this
yeah,
nice
thank you.
talk.